Norah, thank you so much. I really appreciate this. We'll talk about tonight's final night of the DNC, but first I want to ask you about last night. A lot was riding on Kamala Harris's speech. How did she do?
It was a historic night indeed, because this is the first time a black woman, as you know, has been on a presidential ticket. And I think what Kamala Harris succeeded in doing was knitting her personal biography to what are the hopes and aspirations of the Democratic Party. A child of immigrants from India and Jamaica, who works hard selflessly. She talked about her mother teaching her the power of selfless public service. I think what you're really seeing here from the Democratic Party is not just a policy difference with Donald Trump that they're trying to point out, but a personal difference. You heard Kamala Harris talking about kindness and empathy and the honesty of Joe Biden. So they're not only selling the policy differences between the Democratic and Republican Party, they're making this an issue of character.
Yeah, and humanity, too. I really felt like that was also very much up there. We're real people. We're human beings. We're caring human beings.
Yeah, and it was interesting that Kamala Harris noted her own professional biography, of course, being a prosecutor, the first female attorney general of the state of California. She mentioned that when she is acknowledged in a courtroom, it's Kamala Harris for the people. She said that's how she would govern as the vice president of the United States. And then she sort of let that line out there where she said, I know a predator when I see one. And then she paused. And I think she was trying to land a punch on Donald Trump with that one. I think it's a sign that the gloves will be off while they're trying to sell kindness and empathy and biography. The Democrats are also signaling that the gloves are off. They really want to defeat Donald Trump. I mean, you heard President Barack Obama last night say that nothing less than our democracy is at stake.
Yeah, and President Obama really broke with tradition last night. Presidents typically do not critique their successors while they're in office, but last night President Obama unleashed and said of Donald Trump, he hasn't grown into the job because he can't.
There is so much animosity between President Barack Obama and President Trump. And you're right. This threw tradition out the door. Past presidents have a rule. You don't criticize presidents that are in office because they know how hard the job is, the people that have occupied the Oval Office. But I think what you see is Obama's anger at the way Trump, as he said, is not able to live into or fill that office and care about people other than himself, in the words of Barack Obama. But also, that speech and Biden's election is about Obama's legacy. Because remember, Trump has pretty much rolled back many of the efforts that Obama spent 8 years trying to enact. The Iran nuclear deal, Obamacare and expanding medical care coverage for more Americans, environmental protection, so many of those things. So I think Obama also views this as personal, and that's why he went on the attack.
It also looked like last night's presentation really got under President Trump's skin. He was live tweeting in all caps as President Obama was speaking.
You know, that's one of the incredible things about this president. He spends a lot of time watching, television. He spends a lot of time tweeting and pushing back hard. That's one of the appeals. The many people that support President Trump like that he has that feistiness kind of spirit. But we're going to hear from the Republicans next week. Donald Trump and the Republican Party will get the stage next week. We're getting very few details from them about what will happen. We know that President Trump and Melania will speak from the White House. Other than that, we've gotten very few details. So it'll be interesting to see what speakers they put forward, what themes they present, and what policies they put forward, because the election is now 75 days away from today.
Yeah, and the Republicans and Democrats both are doing this all virtually. How is that working out in terms of their ability to connect with not only inspiring the base, but getting people who might not necessarily be leaning toward the party to do so?
Deborah, this is the first time in 20 years that I haven't gone to both the Democratic and Republican convention. There were some awkward moments, these last 3 nights by the Democratic Party. At the, one of the speeches, there's a big line and you're waiting for the applause, and then it's just sort of an awkward silence. There's no big balloon drop. In the case of Joe Biden, his family came out with little, confetti out of a can. So there were some moments that seemed anticlimactic. At the same time, many people said the sort of sober serious speech that President Barack Obama gave, it was perhaps good to do it in that setting because it was so serious about democracy being at stake. So, I think it's one of the challenges for the parties this year is to really connect because, politics is in some ways a lot like sports. People like to be there in a collective way to rally, to cheer, to feel the moment and the excitement. And that's just one thing we're going to have to do without this year.
And tonight will be the moment, arguably, that Joe Biden has prepared decades for as he accepts his party's nomination to become president of the United States. What has he got to do this evening when everyone's paying attention?
Deborah, Joe Biden has been on the political stage, as you mentioned, for almost half a century. Given tens of thousands of speeches and eulogies. And this will be the biggest speech of his lifetime, where many people will be tuned in. The next big will be, of course, the debates. But according to Governor Terry McAuliffe, who's one of his close advisors, this is going to be a serious, somber speech by Joe Biden. I think he will once again talk about his own personal biography and loss and empathy, because I think they are trying to, based on everything I've seen the past 3 days, as I mentioned, sell character, sell personality, that Joe Biden is the person to heal America and heal the deep wounds and divisions that exist.
Yeah. All right. We'll be watching. You guys are doing a great job, Norah. Thank you so much. And let's do this next week and critique the Republican convention, okay?
Would love to. Thank you, Deborah.